Everybody, welcome to Round the Twist, episode 222. It is September 23rd, 2015. Grab your coffee, grab your knitting. We're going to start off. I'm only on my second cup of coffee today, and I'll explain that later, but I have Mango Island today. I decided to grind that and have that this week here at home. So, how have you guys been? I know it's been less than a week. I promised you I was going to record on Thursdays. It would post on Fridays, but like I said, I'll explain that later. Suffice it to say, I'm recording a day early this week. It's not going to become a normal thing. I hope not. So first things first, what I have on my needles. Oh, I did. I'm completely unorganized. In fact, this is take two because I had to stop. I forgot my FO of the week. I was trying to reach for a sock blocker when I realized that, and it just went. I'd only gotten maybe like 30 seconds in, so not a big deal. In my Stitch by Jessalou Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard Spock bag, I have my Nyan Cat SSK socks, which, let me get it on the sock blocker. The first one is done. Ends completely woven in. Afterthought heel complete. Come on, sock. Again, I had to stop because I was unorganized. Even when I stopped, I couldn't get organized and get this on the sock blocker. Why does that look so funny? Probably because it's not on a heel. So, first sock is done. This is my 72 stitch vanilla stockinette sock with an afterthought heel. Crystal heel is what it's known as. I can't remember. I think Lynn H. is the lady's name that I learned it from on Ravelry. It's the crystal heel's available as a free pattern. I believe it's through Knitty. It's at the end of one of her sock patterns. So it is available. I just don't have a link to it right at the moment. I knit this up on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. The yarn is from the lovely Lisa at Fiber Nymph Dye Works. It is her bedazzled base, as I've told you all before. So it has that little bit of stellina in it to sparkle. Second sock. I just finished weaving in all the ends on this one last night, and it just makes me happy with all the rainbows. Second sock, I was like, yeah, I'm done. Hubby's playing a game. I'll pick up all the stitches on the heel for the second sock. Well, I went to turn it inside out just to cut that afterthought yarn, cut my waist yarn tails just a little shorter because I kind of leave generous tails just so it doesn't come unraveled before I want it to. And what do I see? But I see this. What is this? This would be where I joined the contrast color to do the toe. So what did I do when I wove in the end, when I Kitchenered the toe shed? Did I weave in my other two ends down here? No, I didn't. And I didn't feel like dealing with weaving in any more ends. So I didn't, and I just left it alone. So second sock, I just kind of threw it in the pile that's on the arm of the sofa over there and just went, I'm done for tonight. So, and I didn't weave in my top thing either, but that also helps me keep track of where I am in the afterthought heel, so that's okay. This ticked me off. I can't believe I did that to myself. And I know it would take 2 minutes to do, but that's not the point. That's beside the point. My point remains valid that how could I do this to myself and not weave those two bitty ends in? Grrr. I do, however, have a very generous amount of the stripy rainbow stripes left over, and I still have majority of the ball of the navy blue contrast color to do the heel. So plenty to make a pair of socks. I think I'll make a pair for Tara eventually. Because dang, those kids are growing fast. Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to leave this one inside out so I don't forget to do this the next time I pull it out of the bag. So yay. Hopefully, well, I'm not even going to promise I'll have those done by next week. We'll see. I might have them done by next week, but we're coming up on working 6 days out of the next 7. I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Second thing I have on the needles is something new. I'm calling them my New Beginnings socks, which I might change the name of that because that doesn't seem right. So these socks came about from this year at SSK. I was going through the market with Amy, Froggy Monkey, and she made the comment how she loved how the sock blank socks from Gail's Art looked, but she couldn't stand knitting with this, the kinky ramen-y yarn as it comes off. She tried and she hates it, but she loves how the socks look. So I said, you know what? Pick out a sock blank you like. I'll knit you a pair of socks. And I got a really awesome. So she went over and bought the sock blank, which is, I know I've showed it before. At least I know I've showed it in the SSK recap when I was showing off my purchases. I didn't purchase this, Amy did, so I'm making her a pair of socks. She's given me all of the measurements that she has. This is Gail, and I don't have the tag. I clipped it off yesterday when I started these socks, and the babies absconded with it, so I know exactly where it is. It's upstairs in the hoodie that I wore to sleep in the little kangaroo pocket in the front. I know it's there because it was there this morning when I got out of bed, and I forgot to grab it because I don't have a project bag for this project yet. I just haven't grabbed one. So this is just kind of hanging over my couch. So this is the sock blank, and of course it's stockinette, so it curls. I couldn't figure out which end was my end to undo. I thought it was this end because the other end actually had the tag stuck into it, and I was like, well, that way I could leave the tag attached. That would be awesome. And then the more I undid this end, I went, yeah, no, that's not right. That's really not right. So I cut off the maybe like 18 inches that I'd unraveled so far. Went to the other end, and yep, that end unraveled a lot easier. It just unzips. So I'm knitting these up. It's another 72 stitch vanilla sock. However, I'm doing the ribbing a lot longer. Amy likes her ribbing 2 inches long, so that's 26 rows. I'm getting 13 rows to the inch. I guess I've never done gauge on my socks before. As long as they fit, who cares about the gauge? As long as they fit and hold up, right? Yeah. So it's a 72 stitch vanilla sock on US 1s, 2.25 millimeter needles, obviously on magic looping. And I'm using an Addy Lace Turbo, which seems to be my favorite magic loop sock needle at the moment. And so the yarn, the sock blank, sorry. It's cold down here, I'm drinking hot stuff, my nose is running a little. It is called it's from Gail's Art, the lovely Gail, and it's her special secret sock blank, and the colorway theme, whatever you want to call it, is called New Leaf. So it's got this lovely stenciled leaf, and if you want to see the back, the leaf bit, like the dark burgundy she stenciled the leaves with, doesn't actually go all the way through, or it does in spots. So we'll see how that knits up. I'm just starting to get to it on this end. And it's it's pretty generous yardage. I want to say it's like 460 some yards in a sock blank. So even someone with ski feet like me with a US 11, you can definitely get a pair of socks out of this. I mean, as long as you don't go like crazy with the patterning, you're fine. So it started with this light blue and it's progressing into the gold. I'm maybe 2 rows in on the stockinette. I just started that this morning. Watching the babies play, just pulled out and went, yeah, it looks like 2 inches, and then I got down here and pulled out my tape measure and went, whew, yeah, it is 2 inches, yay! So the ribbing's done on sock number 1, and I'm ready to motor the rest of the way down the leg, including the ribbing. Amy only likes like a 6-ish inch cuff, so I only have about 4 inches to go before I start the heel flap, so hopefully that will go quickly. I hope she likes them. I mean, because of the nature of the yarn, let me hold this up closer. You guys can see, my knitting is not the most even, and that's just the nature of it. And I can't remember from hubby's socks if that straightened out or not. I mean, if I tug on it even, let's do a little dry blocking here. It does, not really. Oh, a little bit. It evened out a little bit, not great. But hopefully it won't bug her wearing them because if it doesn't come out in the wash, hopefully it's just the knitting portion of it that bothers her and not the actual wearing of it. I hope, Amy, I hope you like these socks. Really hope so. So that's it. That's all I have on my needles at the moment, or the only things I actively worked on. FO of the week. I finished my shawl design. Finished it, done. So this was a shawl inspired from the Shaping Shawls class at SSK 2015 that I took from Susan B. Anderson. Did I not leave I didn't. Where did I leave my, oh, yes I did. I knit it out of some fiber optic yarns, 80/20 merino silk hand spun that I'd done in their Rouge Violet Cerulean colorway, which is gorgeous. Love it. I would love to knit like everything in this colorway because this is so my colors. Knitted up on a US 5 to 3.75 millimeter needle. I used my signature circular. Everything's still in the project bag. Haven't put anything away. And this is how it turned out. I love it. It's a very shallow shawl because I did an asymmetrical triangle. You guys have seen this every week, but now you can see it stretched out. It's actually got probably a 7-8 foot wingspan on it. I was able to get with my 520 yards. I was going to call it progression or progressive, and I just did a pattern search on Ravelry before I started recording, and there's like 50 shawls that all have that name. I'm like, crap. Sorry. So if you have any shawl name suggestions, let me know, because I am going to write up the pattern and get it test knit and released. I do like the longer, it ended up not being that long, of a garter stitch section here at the end. I think it finishes it off nicely, gives it a good solid base. And I mean, just like any little shawlette thing, I thought the tails were too long dangling down here, so when I put it on earlier, I left the tails a little bit unequal, kind of went where the point was, and just did it like a, I'm making a mess here because I can't see in the mirror, little keyhole scarfy thing, scarfy cowly thing. And if you don't like that, flip that one up through and get a little more red. There we go. So I had this much. The beauty of this shawl, I love it. You keep going until you're just about out of yarn and then you go, yep, time to bind off. And I had that much left, which I haven't even measured to see how much exactly it is. So let me, oh my gosh, seriously? I had 6 feet of yarn left. Yay! And some of it's this little, when you Navajo ply, you get that little nasty end bit, or I always do. Kind of where it ends up being just a little bit of a 2-ply after you get that last thing. So literally, and that's stretching it to make it 6 feet. It's probably more like 5.5 feet of yarn. Holy buckets. Wow. That makes me happy to no end. So started this July 17th at SSK, and I finished it September 19th. It's got its 2 ends woven in. It's already had its bath in some lovely soak wool wash. I know soak does cause some dye release, which I use soak on all of my hand spun when I'm setting the twist. And I don't remember there being much color in the water, but when I went back in to pull this out, there was like, well, just because of the way I'd laid it in the sink, like half the sink had kind of a reddy pink and the other half had a purpley blue. And then I went to pull the shawl out of the water and just squeeze a little bit while it's draining, and I was getting it all mixed together and made purple, and I was kind of going, oh, that's kind of cool, but not cool. I didn't have any dye rub off on my hands. Kimber's normally very good about setting all of her dyes, so I don't know if it was just the soak drawing out that little bit of extra, I think the next time I wash this, I'll use some of the Tuft Woolen's wool wash soap that we got in our goodie bags and try that and see how that works. So there's my FO of the week. Yay! I'd been hoping to get the Nyan cat socks done and have 2 FOs, but sorry guys, no dice. Moving on to pokey things. I only worked on one thing this week and only a very little bit. I was helping the hubby out with a video game, different video game than I know a couple weeks ago I talked about Assassin's Creed and how Syndicate is coming out soon. He had, since our schedules now overlap, we actually get some days off together, so we've been, when the kids nap or after they go to bed, we'll come down here and he's got his gaming systems all set up with the big screen TV, and this area that you can't see over here is what we call the man, well, he calls it the man cave. I'm like, no, it's the family room. It's our home theater. But, well, heck, let me show you a little tour. I'm sorry if anyone gets motion sick. So here we go. So obviously back there's the craft room. I've showed you guys that before. And we just got his old college couches set up here. My little stand light that I've used before, that's so I can sit on this corner of the couch and knit. And then he plays games on, that's his TV, so he can game incessantly. Well, not incessantly, but when he feels like it. So he'd kind of finished where he was with, I think it's Witcher 3 and with Assassin's Creed, is it Brotherhood? Unity was the last one that took place in Paris during the French Revolution. And he was just turning it on and was gonna, I don't know, I'll play something. And this thing popped up for a game pack from Rare Games. And I was like, whoa, wait, what's that? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I haven't really looked at it. So I hurried up and Googled it for him. Rare Games was kind of the thing back in the late 80s, early 90s when gaming systems were really first coming out. Now they work for Xbox making Kinect games. But what they did, they released this pack of 30, the company is called Rare Games, so 30 old, I'll call them old school games. I'm talking old school stuff released in 88, 89, 90, 91, 93, all the way up until the early 2000s. And he's like, well, I don't know. It didn't really give a list of games. Googled it, and I started reading them off. He's like, oh my gosh, I used to play that. Oh my gosh, they have that too? Things like Jet Force Gemini, Banjo-Kazooie, the original, and Nuts and Bolts, and I think there's a third one. Gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. Battletoads 2. Just all the classic 8-bit games that were kind of the beginning of the gaming industry, with handhelds, with video games in general. So I was like, okay, honey, really, 30 games? And he kind of perked up at least half of them. I'm like, even at $2 a game, it's 30 games for $30, and even at $2 a game, if he's only plays half of them, that's totally worth it for me, just to see him light up like that. So we went and got an Xbox gift card because I'm not comfortable putting my credit card number into a system that's not protected. Like, I've got Norton antivirus, and it does security checks on the websites. He doesn't have that on his Xbox. So we went and got him a gift card that he put into his account and purchased that. And oh my gosh, he's been having so much fun. So much. Playing Jet Force Gemini. While he was waiting for everything else to download, he played a little bit of Battletoads. That was actually the first one that popped up. And then he got into Banjo-Kazooie. And oh my goodness. So I've been helping him make sure he gets all of the, kind of how I help with the Assassin's Creed, the treasure chests and all of those bits, help him find, if he doesn't find all 100 music notes for the level. I've been helping him with that, and he's almost done with it. He just has the final boss battle left to do, and every so often he'll catch me watching him, and I'm just grinning like a fool to see him so happy, and he'll just be like, oh, I'm a nerd, and I'm like, and you know what, you're my nerd, and I love it. I love it. Heck, I might even try playing Banjo-Kazooie, because it actually looks like a lot of fun. So yeah, that's one thing. So I've been working on, sorry, we're talking about pokey things, right? We are not into various and sundry yet. I was waiting to tell you about that. But while he's been doing that, I've been trying to cross stitch or knit, or that's how I finished the heel on my Neon Cat sock. I've been trying to work on the second clue, but he gets excited and bounces on the couch a little bit, or when he finishes something and the little doot 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 music plays, he bounces and the whole couch bounces. I'm trying to go with the needle and like, okay, I'm just gonna give up on this. So clue 2. Clue 1 was the toy shop. This is A Very Merry Christmas Town from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I still have it in the hoop, so it's kind of squished. But that toy shop, and then I'm working on the candy store over here that has Mrs. Claus on the edge. And last week, all I had done was the snow along the bottom and a little bit of the white from Mrs. Claus's hair and apron. Obviously, I've done a bit more. I got a little of the edge of the candy shop done and the red at the bottom of the window. Well, and I had enough red to come up and do a little bit on one of the candy jars. And then do Mrs. Claus. I'm working on Mrs. Claus's dress currently. So I got a bit more done. Not as much as I would have liked to have been at this point. Because you'll remember the last time a clue came out, and I think they're being released roughly every 3 to 4 weeks. The last time a clue came out, I still had to finish up the first clue, and then clue 2 came out, and I finished clue 1 like a week after clue 2 came out. Well, clue 3 is coming out today. It will be in my inbox this afternoon. I am nowhere near done, not even close. It's not going to happen. I'm not even going to try to push myself. If I get it done by Christmas, yay. If not, oh well. It'll be ready for next year. I'm a little disappointed, but then I sat back and I kind of realized, you know what? My like I said last week, my crafting time has been seriously cut back just because I don't have those nights trying to flip my sleep schedule from day shift back to night shift where I'm staying up while everybody's sleeping. And that was like 8 hours of uninterrupted crafting time, and I haven't had that for the last few weeks. That's why everything has dropped off. That's why I haven't kept up with the cross stitch. That's why I haven't touched Once Upon a Time, which is sitting over there on the love seat as well. Oh well, things are going to slow down a little bit. However, we'll move into various and sundry. The reason why I'm recording a day early, I had to, we have a policy at work, and my last hospital had the same thing. If you called off of your shift on a weekend, you had to make up that shift. Now, the last place kind of lets you look at the schedule and go, well, you're short here, I can help you on this day because that works with my schedule. This place says, no, it's at the management's discretion, and you don't have childcare? Oh, well, not our problem. Well, we got it figured out. They need help on night shift tomorrow night, Thursday. So I'm spending tonight staying up all night, or trying to stay up the majority of the night. So yay, I'll get some uninterrupted crafting time. And then I will work Thursday night. I was supposed to work as my mid-shift, my admit nurse, Friday and Saturday. And that shift is noon to midnight. I was like, I can't leave work at 6:30 in the morning and be back at work by noon. I have to have more time off than that. And they said, can you come in at 4? I said, sure. So I'm working 4 to midnight on Friday, and then noon to midnight on Saturday, and then I'm back. I'll have Sunday off, and I'll work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So we'll be back to recording next Thursday, probably with very little to show for it except for what I accomplished tonight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. That's unfortunately how things are falling right now. So, what else can I tell you? I think that's it. Oh, I am ready and set up to start Gabe's flax sweater. That will probably be on the needles. I've got my yarn, I've got my needles, I've got my waste yarn. We are all set to start Gabe's sweater. And those babies, oh my goodness. We went and got them some 3T. Yes, they're not 2 yet, but they are tall enough they need 3T pajamas, because they're going to grow into them this winter anyway. And the Carter's Outlet store had a sale on fleece footy jammies. And yeah, we got them 3T and I washed them, put them on them that night. You guys, the bodies fit, like the shoulder to crotch fits. Like it's maybe like an inch too long. The sleeves fit exactly. The legs, the feet are maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch too long, and that's it. The legs are maybe like 2 inches too long. Oh my gosh. They're getting too big. Not fair. I've told them they are not allowed to do that. They must stop growing immediately, and Gabe and Tara both looked at me and went, no, and ran off. I didn't cry. I wanted to, but I thought hubby was going to cry when Gabe walked out wearing his jammies, and he's like, are those the new ones? I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh my God, those are 3D. I know. We both had a moment of panic. Our kids are going to be giants. I know I'm tall. I know hubby is tall, but holy buckets. Okay, so yeah, the whole schedule change and everything is why I'm only just now drinking my second cup of coffee. I was hoping to catch a nap, but then I realized I had to record, so here we go, powering through the day and majority of the night. So I guess that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. So I guess until next week and a day, happy knitting.